What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. The look that you're seeing on my face right now contains zero foundation. All the products that I use today are really meant to kind of just enhance your skin, not totally completely cover it. I know this is not a no foundation makeup tutorial that just replaces foundation with concealer. This is truly a no foundation look. I only put concealer in very specific areas of my face. I really want to show you guys that first of all, it's okay for some of your natural skin texture and natural color to show through. I also think this is such a great look to do, especially if you want to do this before school or before work, or if you're a mom and you don't have a lot of time to get ready. Every single product that I use today has a purpose. There's no fluff in here. We're getting down to business, you know? And today's video also has some really great techniques that I started to incorporate that also make a huge difference in the end. Today's video is also extra exciting because it is in collaboration with Lana. The Lana products are already such a staple in my routines, so it really was such a seamless collaboration, and I'm really excited to be working with them today. Of course, hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy videos like this, and subscribe if you want to join the fam, because the fam here is pretty awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get into the tutorial. You have no idea how much it is snowing outside right now. I think there's probably 20 centimeters of snow outside of my window. So needless to say, it is very dry and cold today, and my skin, as always in the winter, is feeling it. So I'm going to moisturize first. I'm going to use my Lana Lips 101 lip ointment. This is one of my favorite products to use on my lips, especially in the wintertime. As you can see, I've already used quite a bit of this stuff. Every single morning, I will slather the 101 ointment all over my lips because this is a fairly thick product. So when I put it on my lips, I actually find it acts almost like a protective barrier. So when I go out into the dry and cold weather, it doesn't affect my lips and my lips stay nice and moisturized. Like all the products that Lana has, this does have lanolin in it, which is a very, very hydrating ingredient. So if you are like me, and you're in a very dry winter climate, this is seriously a lifesaver. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of it and just smear that all over my lips. What I love most about this product is that it is a multi-purpose balm. This isn't just a lip balm. You can put this anywhere on your body or your face where you feel like you're really, really dry. I actually personally love to put this on my cuticles. So normally what I'll do, I'll have a little bit of leftover after applying the product onto my lips, and I'll just take whatever's left over and just put it on my cuticles. And it does a really good job of just kind of moisturizing that area and just getting rid of any dry, chapped skin. You could even take a little bit and run it through your brows to kind of like slick your brow hairs up. After putting the product through my brows, I'll just brush all of the hairs upwards, and it kind of creates that like lamination brow look. It's kind of cool. So the next step in my no foundation routine is to moisturize my face, of course. So I am gonna go in with my Lana All Over Everywhere Multi-Cream. This is such a beautiful moisturizer, especially for the winter time, because it is quite thick. But it's thick without being overly heavy. Because it does have that nice thickness, it kind of glides over all of those rough patches that I have going on my dry skin. Because we aren't applying foundation, I really want my skin to look good. I want it to look really nice and moisturized, so it is important to put on a good moisturizer for this particular type of routine. I also actually like to take whatever's left over and just moisturize my hands with this product because it works great as a hand moisturizer too. And again, it's a great little 2-in-1. So because this is a no foundation look, I do want to make sure that the products that I am using are going to, you know, make my skin look really amazing, since there's not going to be any foundation to cover up any of my redness. So I actually really like using my Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. I find this primer does add a really nice radiance to my skin without it being too obvious. I could go in with like a glow boosting type of product like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter or like the NARS Glow Booster, but I find if I use those by themselves, they can be somewhat obvious on the skin, and the whole point of this look is to really keep it as natural as possible. So I'm just taking a little bit of this and just massaging it everywhere. My mom actually kind of introduced me to this product. This is what she does on her no makeup days. She uses this product all over her face because of the exact reasons that I just listed out. And then I started doing the same, and I was like, whoa, you're onto something, lady. So even though I'm not using foundation, it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna use concealer, and I'm not gonna put concealer all over my face because that just kind of defeats the whole purpose of it. But I do actually use 2 different types of concealers on specific areas of my face to still give me a really nice fresh appearance without putting it literally everywhere. So I like to use the Ilia True Skin Serum Concealer for underneath my eyes, and then for face covering, I like the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. It's really important that when you are doing a no foundation look, that the concealers you are choosing match your skin pretty perfectly. You really especially don't want to go too light with your concealer, otherwise it's really going to stand out on your natural skin because you're not going to have a foundation to kind of help blend that out. I am going to be using my Ilia concealer in the shade Suma, which does match my skin fairly well. I feel like it's pretty close. So this one I like to put underneath my eyes. Now I'm definitely not going to go overboard with this because this is supposed to be a minimal makeup look, but I want to still cover up those dark circles. So I'm just putting it right underneath my eyes where I'm the darkest and on like the inner corner of my eye because I get really blue over there. So I'm just going to use a Smith 157 and just gently pat that out and blend out that concealer. When blending out concealer into just my bare skin, I really do like to make sure that after I pat out the majority of the concealer, that I kind of feather out whatever product I have left over on the brush on kind of like the edges of where the product was sitting so that it blends nicely into my skin. Because again, you just don't want the concealer to look too harsh or stark or obvious, and that's gonna help really just keep everything seamless. And then I have a little trick at the end, which is totally like the cherry on top of the sundae. It's a new technique that I've been incorporating into this particular look, which is life-changing. You guys are going to love it. I'm so excited to show you. So next step is to conceal on the face. Now, again, I'm not gonna go overboard with this, but there are still areas on my face that, you know, I do wanna kind of cover up a little bit because I do get fairly red in certain areas. And I wanna make sure that my skin, you know, looks as good as it possibly can, but while being pretty minimal. So I'm gonna be a little bit extra. I'm going to take 2 of my NARS Soft Matte Concealers in 2 different shades. I have light 2.5 Creme Brulee and medium 2 Ginger. This is like too light, this is too dark. I'm kind of gonna mix the two together and I'm going to use that to apply that to my face. And to apply that, this is key, I'm gonna take a natural hair brush. This is my Smith 230. This is a tiny little eyeshadow brush, and the reason why I'm using a natural haired brush is because it's actually going to soak up the majority of the product. And that's actually a good thing because it's just going to allow for a lighter application. Natural haired bristles do kind of absorb product more than synthetic bristles, so you are gonna get more of like a heavier application with a synthetic brush. So that is why we are using a natural haired brush today. So I'm just taking a little bit of the product, I mix the 2 shades together, and I'm just going to feather that where I want a little bit more coverage. So kind of like around my nose area, that's where I get really red, especially in the winter time. And you can see that kind of just like gently erased the redness there, but it applied such little product. You can barely even see it like when you look up close. I'm also gonna put a little bit down my nose because my nose does tend to get really red. And this is like the only part of my face that I kind of like to be a little bit heavier with on like the concealer application, just because my nose just gets so red when I get cold and it gets really obvious. I'm also gonna put a little bit right on my chin. And the only other area that I like to apply some concealer is kind of between where my under eye concealer meets my cheek. I just find this marries it nicely because then I also do get a little bit red right there. So that is pretty much the concealer applied. I really don't have any product on the perimeter of my face. Like on my entire forehead, I don't have any concealer. On this whole part of my face, I don't have any concealer. I really just have it concentrated, kind of just like in this little triangle on my face, and that's really all that I need for this type of look. Again, this isn't supposed to make your skin look flawless. It's just supposed to make you look natural, like you woke up like this. So my next tip is like my new favorite thing to do, and that is when I take my little brush and I will mix in a little bit of my moisturizer into my brush, and then I will use that to kind of finesse over the concealer areas, and that will make my concealer and my face look so hydrated and dewy, and it will really just make all the products that we just applied really one with the skin. So I'm gonna take a little bit more of my Lana All Over Everywhere multi-cream. I'm just taking the smallest amount, even that's too much, like I'm removing some. So I have a teeny tiny little bit on the back of my hand. I'm gonna take this brush and just dab the moisturizer into the brush. Then I'll just tap this all over my face. It makes such a subtle difference. I feel like it's like a difference that you could really only see in person, but it just adds that little bit of extra glow and hydration to the skin, and it just makes all those products look even more natural. It truly looks like I'm wearing nothing on my face after doing that. It's the best. You guys, like, you need to try this trick, and after you do, you need to tell me about it. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it works for you, and tell me if it changed your life. I actually have one more thing to do. I do want to powder just a little bit. I don't like to leave my under eyes unpowdered just because I feel like my under eyes tend to crease a little bit. So I always like to go in with a little bit of a powder. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Skin Perfecting Micro Powder in 1 Fair is like my go-to under eye powder. So that I don't over apply this, I'm gonna use a small fluffy brush. This is just a random one from Nabla. It's the soft crease brush. Sorry, that was so hard to come out of my mouth for whatever reason. I'm just gonna pick up some of the powder, tap off the excess, the majority of the powder honestly, and then just lightly dust that on my under eye and on my nose as well, because my product always comes off my nose the fastest. So now that our skin is looking, you know, naturally perfected, it's time to add some color to the face. So when I do my more natural looks, I do like to play with creams rather than powders, because I just feel like, I know I keep repeating this word, but it just looks natural. So I am gonna use an oldie but a goodie today, my Nude Sticks Bondi Bay. So I am gonna use a sponge to apply this. You could totally use a brush, that works great too, and even your fingers. But I do find between all 3 application methods, the sponge does apply it kind of the most seamlessly, I find. So I'm actually going to apply it on the back of my hand. I'm not gonna pick it up directly from the stick because I find I kind of pick up too much when I do that. Once I pick it up, I dab it once just to kind of see how much product I picked up so that I know when I go in to apply it, I don't get a little surprise. So I'm just going to start to lightly bronze by just patting that on all the areas that I normally would add color to my face. I feel like the bronzer is pretty important because it'll just kind of bring your face back to life. But it's also very important that you make sure that your bronzer is very, very well blended into your skin, because the worst thing is when you aren't wearing foundation and you apply bronzer on bare skin and it just looks kind of patchy, muddy, and out of place. You don't want that. And that's why I like cream, because powders will not really stick to bare skin. You kind of need something sticky underneath for your powders to last and for it to kind of fade evenly throughout the day. And I find whenever I put a powder on my bare face, it just looks really odd. Putting a little bit of this across the bridge of my nose just to give me a nice little sun-kissed look. Because you gotta think about where you get tan when you sit out in the sun, and your nose will always get a little bit tan. So it's important to put a little bit of bronzer there. So now I'm going to do my blush. Same thing, gonna use another Nude Sticks cream product. This is the Nudies Bloom in Sweet Peach Peony. The Bloom formula from Nude Sticks does have some glow to it, so it is going to give your cheeks a nice, healthy, radiant look. So again, just picking it up on the back of my beauty blender and putting that right on my cheeks. For the eyes, you can do whatever you want. You could leave them completely bare. You can do something with eyeshadow. I'm just gonna apply some mascara. When I'm doing my no makeup looks, for whatever reason, I always make sure I curl my lashes. I honestly don't curl my lashes every time I do my makeup, but for these looks, I just find it necessary. For my mascara, I'm gonna just use my Ilia Limitless Lash, one of my favorites. All right, the very last steps of this look are the lips. So I am gonna take my Lana Lips Tinted Lip Balm in the shade Perfect Nude. This is such a great lip balm because it's kind of a great 2-in-1. It's incredibly moisturizing, but it also adds some really nice color to your lips. I really like applying it on its own, but you could also layer it on top of a lipstick if you want to. And of course, it's just gonna continue to protect and hydrate your lips. And that, guys, completes the no makeup, no foundation, makeup look. If I wasn't talking to the camera, this would take me maybe 5 minutes to do. And it's such a gorgeous look. So simple. Alright guys, that is it for today's tutorial. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Once again, thank you so much to Lana for sponsoring a portion of today's video and for collaborating with me. And all the Lana products that I mentioned today can be found at Sephora Canada. I really hope that you guys found all of these tips helpful. Let me know down below all of your thoughts as per usual. Give this video a big thumbs up and of course subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Alright guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye!